We are live. Let's see if my iPad shows a healthy stream. This one here is pretty warm because I tested it beforehand to have everything properly set up. Okay, is there anything already? Alright, well, it does say I'm live. However, I don't see the stream yet, but I guess it probably is. Let me quickly check on YouTube, because it doesn't say either that there is anyone in the stream. So let's check that too. So if anyone is in the stream, just say hello in the chat or something, so I know that we are online. And if there's nobody here yet, well, the action hasn't started yet. Let's say it like so. Let me check in YouTube. I'm always a bit worried that something goes wrong with YouTube. I do have the preview. And I can see myself. Okay, good. Seems to be fine. That's good. That's good. That's good. So yeah, I think we can start. Drink of the day is Fritz Cola Mishmash, which is Coca-Cola or Coke, their own version of Coke, plus orange lemonade. Okay. This is a bit of a spontaneous stream, because at first I thought I might do a video about this, but couldn't be bothered. And I already did 2 streams on the Atari 7800. And it almost worked back then. And I did a couple of mistakes. And now it is working. And I can show you something, because someone helped me get this off the ground, basically. This whole thing used to be working, and it used to look slightly different. There was one thing, let me see if I can find it without tipping over my drink, spill my drink. There used to be something on there, which is this thing here, this stupid little board. I'm gonna try to dig out. This used to be in here with 2 SRAM chips for the 4 kilobytes of RAM or something that the Atari 7800 has. And I did wire up the UAV mod, but there were some problems. First of all, 2 pots were below this thing that you are supposed to tweak a little bit for the color output. Not strictly necessary, but this was hiding away. And we didn't get any color at all, which was because I used my little bench power supply here to inject power directly at the output legs of the voltage regulator, which was a bad idea, because this thing actually needs the 9 volts or something input to generate the color signal. And that's why I didn't have any color. So because I couldn't debug this, because my mind was somehow cluttered up by not knowing that I should have used the regular input from the get-go, someone contacted me on the DOS Reloaded forum, and he said, I'm an expert basically on Atari consoles, and he does mods and develops expansions and funky things for all Atari 8-bit computers, from what I could tell. His name is TFHH, I think. He offered me to just check this thing, put in regular SRAMs, the 6116 kind, and he also replaced the pots because they were old and scratchy. And he debugged it and said, your 7800 is just fine. The UAV mod works just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You just injected the wrong voltages. And so there we are. Also, due to the fact that the voltage regulators sometimes die, I wanted to be super clever and replace the voltage regulator before it dies and destroys the machine. So I put in another 7805, but I put in the 1 amp version, and as long as you're using old cartridges, that's roughly fine. However, if you put in the Harmony or the Concerto cartridge, which are the flash cartridges for the 2600 and the 7800 respectively, it would stop working because these consume much more power because there's a little ARM processor in here and stuff. So that didn't work. So he also put in a 7805C variant or something, the 1.5 amp version anyway. Then he sent everything back to me and put in this nice little thing. This is a 3D printed Atari logo, and he also threw into the package 2 copies of the Abuk magazine, which is a German fanzine basically from the Atari user group. And there's like this is like 2 and 3 years old, but there's stuff in here about Atari history, like their first games, Computer Space, stuff like that, new games, old games, hardware, etc., etc. So everything Atari, meetups, competitions, stuff like that. So lovely stuff. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And this year, well, I have to put it up somewhere on the walls, I guess. I haven't found a place yet, but it will go somewhere. Probably right next to a Commodore machine or something. Yeah, so that's that. The thing is, this thing works, and I'm gonna show you. We also have to figure out a way to place this somewhere, so probably I'm gonna put it on one of the SRAM chips because they run really cool. I can't put it on here on the RF modulator because the RF shield will go back in as well. This is the RF shield. And I want to keep it as original as possible. And it doesn't fit in between. I already checked. And I don't want to put it on any of the custom chips because they are rare and stuff. This year I can replace if it breaks. So I think I will do and put it here. But let me show you. I'm gonna switch on the capture device. And first of all, Asteroids now works. That's a little bit cut off at the bottom, but I don't think that's super terrible. And you should also hear sound, probably way too loud. So I'm gonna turn this down a bit because the sound on this particular game is not super awesome anyway. So yeah, but as you can see, this is only composite, by the way, which you can make out by the jittery thing here. And I think my capture device might be acting up a little bit. But I'm going to put in the Harmony cartridge and show you a little bit of stuff. If you see like a very weird picture now, only half of the lines, you should try and switch to 60 frames per second in your live stream. Then it should be better because the Harmony cartridge and a lot of demos use some kind of interlacing technique to get this kind of high-res text. But we can run like a demo or something to show off that this actually does work. Yeah, I think my capture device is a little bit off kilter right now because the image is pushed to the bottom a little bit too much. But you can imagine what it looks like and you can hear the sound. This is of course only the TIA, which is this one here, producing the sound currently because the Atari 7800 has nothing else in the way of sounds. But there is, in the Concerto cartridge, there is a, you can see it, there is a Hokey chip in there, or actually the Hokey, which is homebrew version of that, because the Poki hasn't been made in 30 years or something. But it's a little bit of a better sound chip, and it can be used by a couple of games and demos, basically. But you can see it does work, especially in 2600 mode. Let's quickly try something out in 7800 mode. And after that we are gonna try and mount everything properly, because there's loose wires hanging around here that I want to change actually, and we will do a little planning how to mount everything into the original casing. So we're going to go to the panel section of games, and then we're gonna pick something like Donkey Kong. Why not? Donkey Kong is a great game. Yeah, and here there's the fabulous tear sound. And yeah, it's cut off at the bottom. But yeah, you can imagine what Mario looks like. And since I'm playing with a lot of lag here, I'm probably gonna die pretty quickly. But I'm trying my best to get through the first level, but I couldn't. Yeah, I think there's like 100 or 2, yeah, at least 100 milliseconds of lag, and that's way too slow for an arcade game like this. It's absolutely horrendous. I have to jump in advance, otherwise I'm really gonna die here. Whew, that was a bit lucky. And Donkey is throwing barrels at me. And there we go! Finished the first level. Now this is one of the 7800 games that's definitely better on the 7800 than on the 2600. There is an arcade correct version, basically homebrew version on the 2600, but it still looks way worse than this. But yeah, seems just fine, I'd say. Do we have something else on here? Let's go to the power folder again. Fatal Run, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Oh, let's have a look at Galaga. What does Galaga look like on this machine? Okay, yeah, that's nice. Oh yeah, oh, that's really smooth. That's really smooth. That looks even better than Galagon by Champ Games on the 2600, which is an incredibly good game, I think. I played it a lot. We can have a quick comparison in a minute. I'm not sure if the colors are correct or if I tweaked one of the pots and this is totally off, because I think there should also be a dial for 7800 colors. But Donkey Kong looked correct, so I would guess that this is not too far off from what it should look like. And we can also use S-video output, so Chroma Luma, which I won't be doing right away. I think I'll only feed out the composite signal, because let's face it, it is absolutely stunning, I would say. Even through my cheap HDMI capture device here. And I think it will look much better on a CRT, and that's where we'll be using it mostly, like on a 1084 by Commodore or something. It does have also S-video input, but I think I won't be using that. This is good enough for me, at least for the moment. But the option is there to route out both the Luma and the Chroma signal. So that's that. Let's quickly compare with Galagon, which is the where is it? Here, the Champ Games version of Galaga for the 2600, which is basically an arcade port by John Champeau. There we go. Takes a second to synchronize with the capture device. And again, if you see a lot of flicker, then you should probably try and switch to 60 Hz playback. It's also relatively smooth, but I think the 7800 version looks even smoother than this, but it's an amazing port, which I think would not have been possible back in 1983 or something on the 2600 with the technology they had back then. I think the Starfield in the background, for example, is rendered by the little ARM processor that's on here. But the main game code and everything else is usually done by the 2600 itself, or the 7800 for that matter. Let's get captured. Pretty neat, and let's see if we can get back our ship without destroying it. Yes, we managed to do it. Brilliant, now we have a double shot. Great. The colors are not super bright here, that's why I try to play around with the pot without much luck, but I think this might be due to my capture device. I have to check it on the CRT when I finished everything up. But yeah, you can see it works perfectly in both 7800 mode and 2600 mode. Alright, I think that's enough of that. I'll turn off the capture device for now. Also, I'm gonna pull out the cartridges. And I'm gonna pull out the power, because that's also not a good idea. And I'm gonna turn off the actual capture device. Neonum is here. Funny gameplay, yeah. Hello, Neonum. So, this is always on, always powered. So I'm gonna carefully pull out the plug. I might want to do a USB power mod at some point to have an alternative way of powering this. I saw Control-Alt-Reese do that, who did a mod at the same time I did, it seems, and he also had some issues because he had two boards that were broken. Mine luckily works, and luckily still works. About this loose cabling. So I don't want to drill holes in here, which means I should not use these RCA plugs directly. There is a lot of openings inside of the casing. There are two openings here and here for the difficulty switches, I think. No, this one is for power, this one is for channel select, that's it. Channel select, power plug, and this is for the RF connector. When putting this in, I probably won't have space. Yeah, I do have a little bit of space here above the channel selector, which I won't really be using. And I'm wondering if I could feed a regular cable through there. I think that might work. Or the alternative would be to use one of the holes at the bottom, because there is some kind of cable management here and a lot of openings. However, I'm not sure where to route the cables from there, because I would have to go through the shield here, and I think what I can actually do is I could definitely use the channel selector hole and route the cable through there. And let's have a look if I just put everything under here without caring in the world what's going where. So this would have to go down here. Yeah, there's a lot of space, you see? There's a lot of space, we can use that. And Matthias Danielson has also joined. Hello, Matthias. Welcome. For those of you joining later, I just demonstrated the 7800 working correctly with the UAV mod in place. And now I'm planning on how to get the video signals out. I do have preliminarily hooked up some RCA jacks on here, but that would mean drilling holes into the case, and since this is my only 7800 and they are not super common here in Germany, I don't want to destroy it more than necessary, which is not at all if possible. I even left the RF modulator and I removed nothing. Everything stayed original. The only thing that I added is the UAV board, and TFHH put in the new SRAM and the pots, but we can restore that to factory even then by putting this back in if we want it, but this is an ugly board. So this sometimes came from factory with these SRAMs and sometimes with this weird board. So yeah, I don't have any problems with leaving that out. But otherwise, this thing could have come from factory like so, except for the UAV, and we can just remove it. Audio is picked up here at resistors R32 and R33, which are the the external audio, which can come from the cartridge, plus the TIA sound mixed together basically, and decoupled by using a 10 microfarad capacitor. Exactly, so my plan now is to use this AV cable and cut off at one end everything, more or less, something like here. Wire up the red and white plugs to the audio, which is this here, directly by cutting off some wire here as well, and putting some heat shrink tubing on there, obviously. Probably also using some cable tie to fix it somewhere here on, probably on this plug. Maybe I have to check where I can do it for strain relief, and feed everything else out at the back, so I can just plug it into any monitor with sound, etc. I think that might be a good idea, I hope. So, and the video obviously will also go on where this is coming from, so we'll also cut off most of this part here, or just solder it directly here. Let's see. Something like that, I would say. I think that's the best idea. I put some Captain tape already on the bottom of the UAV because it's the components here, and I do have some double-sided 3M tape here, so I can stick it onto the SRAM. As I said, the SRAM runs really cool, so I don't suspect there will be any issues with that. I hope that I can solder these wires on, because they might be quite small inside, but I will try. I will just cut it off now, I think, and if I manage to break something, it doesn't matter so much, because these are very cheap. These are not expensive cables at all, so I think that should be fine. Let's see if I'm gonna regret this. Okay, so that's what they look like. Let's take the tool here. Okay, so there's the ground is on the outside, it seems, so we might have to open up a little bit more, and then the signal wire is in the middle, encapsulated sort of. And I should have taken note which signal I just got. So it's the one on the right, which is it video? Cable is twisting, and I managed to grab video, I think. Good grief, this is annoying. Yeah, it's video. Okay, so that should work if I attach that. Alright, is this gonna be fun? Probably not. Oh boy. Was this a good decision? Or am I gonna regret this? I think I need to open this up a little bit more. Luckily there's I think I'm gonna take the tool again. There's so much. Ah yes, that's better. Okay, now I can see better what's going on inside of this. Okay, there's the yellow strand, and I can put the shielding wire or the ground wire to one side and just twist it like so. I think that should be fine. I think this is doable, but it's definitely not gonna be my favorite thing. Okay, now I can remove the insulation from the yellow wire. Oh, I should. You can't see anything. Why doesn't anyone say anything? This the capture device was still on. Okay, this looks weird. This looks positively weird. Ah, okay. I think it is still encapsulated in some kind of plastic. Yeah. Let's see if I can do that again. Aha! Now we got it. Now I got the strands free. Yeah, I think this is doable. It will be horrible, but it is doable. My suggestion is that I'm going to solder this to the composite output jack. This is audio, and audio is really annoying at the moment because it's kind of convoluted here, and I think I could solder this directly on, which would probably be not my worst idea, I hope, because then I can get rid of all this excess wire basically. Yeah, I think that might be good. Or I can see if I have screw post terminals, but I don't think I have any that fit this here. These pin headers will fit, but then I have the same issue of soldering there, so I'm probably gonna put the ground wire into one end and this into the other. The annoying thing is I will need to insulate this a little bit, so let me fetch my little box of heat shrink tubing. So here's a lot of heat shrink. Question is, can we get this over there? And if so, which size? I think if I take this end here, we'll have to take both. Yeah, I can shove it above everything, over everything, and I'm gonna use roughly like a bit more than an inch, you would probably say. So the heat shrink tubing will be for insulating most of the way. Does it make sense? Thing is, I have like this Y connection here, and this must not short out each other, otherwise we will have no video signal and probably break something. I kind of wish the UAV board would have already some kind of ready-made plugs on there, like a 3.5mm plug or something. like this, and then, yeah, maybe. Alright, I'm gonna desolder the ground in the composite video, which should be easy enough, I hope. I might have to stick some new tape on there. There's a resistor right next to it. I don't want to desolder that. So that was the ground wire. And now let's take the other one. I'm gonna stick new Captain tape on there. I might put something on here so I don't accidentally desolder any of the small components there, because it's really extremely tiny. Yeah, I think having some proper like these pin headers on there and a cable that you can attach to that would be very nice. Okay, this is the old RCA jack. I'm gonna remove that, and then I'm gonna try and solder in the new wire, and I'm gonna try to stick it through. But it's gonna be hard. This is gonna be hard. You might want to use some solder braid to remove the solder. So I can definitely say that the 7800 is not the easiest Atari to mod. I think no, this doesn't come out. We need the Moo machine. The 2600 I think was simpler, although I ripped out quite a few components on purpose. Removed all the RF modulator stuff because 2600s are still so common. But as I said, I don't want to destroy this thing without any need to do so. So I really want to keep in the RF modulator, because this way I can even hook it up to no television if I want to. So this takes a while to heat up. The question is, do I put a little bit of fresh solder on there? Because usually it will work better when I do that. And I think I will do. This should be enough, just one little drop. 240 degrees Celsius. That's not enough. I'm gonna try and turn the Mac a little bit around. Sadly, I'm always sitting behind the the camera that films the desktop. Okay, now we should be able to do something. Very carefully, not to... Okay, this sounds good. This sounds clean. Oh, it doesn't sound good. Yes. This worked. Yes. This also worked. Okay. A lot of effort for two little holes here. Okay, let's see if we can manage to squeeze this through. Then we might not even need the heat shrink tubing, but it's better to have it on here than to not have it. actually not looking too bad. I think I can fit the composite video line through. The question is, can I also get the ground wire through here, because it's much thicker. Yeah, kinda. Okay. Question is now, can I fit both at the same time through here? And I will open up this a little bit more. I can use cable ties later to put it back together. And oh my god, is this finicky. I positively hate it. Oh no, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. Maybe I'm gonna tin this first. I might need to cut off some of the ground wire. This is really the worst. I do have one more idea that I could use, but I'm not keen on trying it, because I do have a tool and I do have stuff for making these connectors basically, but I really don't want to do that. I did that once and it was horrible as well. I mean, we can have a look if I can find that kit. That is and I think I found it. It's this beast here, and we can check and see if we can crimp two connectors on here. If not, it will be a lot of fun. Yeah. I think we have to bend it like this, and then the little strip falls off. And this is like a crimping tool. I'm gonna turn this off for now. And I think you put the wire in here, roughly like so, but probably a bit shorter than this, because I think this is way too long, because it must not reach into the thing here, and I do see a problem with the grounding wire, because it must not touch to the video part basically. So we can try to do this. I'm trying to figure out which way to hold this, because there are little indents here. I'm not sure if you can see that, and you have to basically place one part into there. Yeah, let's try it like this. Let's try it one more time. And is this good? Well, it is at least sticking. And there are these little plastic caps that slide right onto there. Roughly like this, I guess. Alright, this I think could work. And I think we need, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like this. I shouldn't have turned this off. There's too many tools on my desk. Oh no. Ah, yes, it fits. Yes, it fits. I only need to solder the left two ones, which is ground and composite video. The others are Luma and Chroma and another ground. Alright, this should do the trick. And in theory, this here should go on here. I see. Doesn't properly fit because I think I crimped it too hard. And this is why I hate these things. Let's see if we can fit it by force. Yeah, kind of. Does seem to make a connection, but is that really so? Let's pick a multimeter. And this should be the signal. So, continuity. And we should go from all the way down here to the center of the yellow plug. So this should beep if I put yes. Okay, we do have proper video connection. That is good news. Now for the other pluggety thing, let's see if we can make this work too. This will be a bit nasty, I would say, but let's try it anyway. I have to pull this again, otherwise this will not work. So something like that. And this is so friggin' fiddly. I'm sure I'm doing this wrong, but I have no clue how this should actually work. And it's gone. Where did it go? Ah, here. God, I hate it. Oh, friggin'. Okay, this was not good enough. People, never make your own DuPont connectors. This is way too thin. This doesn't work. Maybe I should just solder it on. I think I'm gonna put some solder on there and see if that works. Ah! Just a drop. Just a little drop of solder. Should be enough. I have to be careful not to put it into the front. Ouch, that's hot. This is already good enough. And now I can even crimp it, because now it won't fall off. I can just use the narrowest crimping tool and properly get it crimped on. I hope it didn't deform too much. We'll see. So this goes on like so. I think the crimping tool destroyed it. We only need to get some kind of ground connection. Yeah, it's too loose fitting, I think. It's way too loose. I hate this. But it might be good enough. Let's see. I might have to put some hot glue on there later. Who knows? Another test. This time it should connect to the outer sleeve of the yellow connector. And it doesn't. Oh, it does. Okay. Inner part is still connected. Yes. Okay, we should have good video connection now. Good. Let's hope it's good. Which means we can take all the tools, put them over here, take the video cable and try to... We don't have any video yet, mind you. Plug it into the capture device back here. I have to remove the audio mixer. I hope this doesn't make any scratchy sounds or buzzing noises. If so, I'm very sorry. Okay, the video is back online. Let's turn it on. We should see a blue screen. We do. And we don't have any power. Because there's no power in there. Okay, power is in. There you go. Asteroids. And I think the video quality is okay-ish. That's fine. Let's see in-game. Put in a joystick. Okay, I would say this is working. Yeah, okay. Not my favorite thing in the world, but I think it's better than having it soldered down. I'm not confident that this will hold a lot of, like, there needs to be strain relief, definitely. But it is at least replaceable. I do have like plugs on there. The thing is, let's turn off the capture. I think we can more or less put this down on the SRAM now, but there is the grounding cable that I take from there, and I'm gonna think that I will need something like this amount of wire to play with. So I'm gonna leave it a bit longer because that doesn't hurt much. And I'm gonna cut off the second RCA jack. And I'm gonna take two things. The Captain tape and a little bit of double-sided tape. Why do I put Captain tape on it? Because I don't want the double-sided tape to rip off any components if I try to remove this thing at some point in the future. So that's why I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna slice it somehow like this. It should rip off, but it doesn't. Use the scalpel here, or X-Acto knife, or whatever you call it. And it doesn't budge, not at all. And of course I do have some stuff here. I have lots of fingerprints now on this stupid thing. Actually, I'm not trying to win any beauty contests with this. I'm just gonna protect this thing from the 3M tape. I don't care about the SRAM at all, because that's easy to replace. Okay, this should be fine. I'm gonna put down one piece of double-sided tape on the SRAM, and that will be my glue, basically, for holding this thing in place. It's not super sturdy, but I'm not gonna throw this device around anyway, so I think I'm gonna be fine with that. Just like so. I have to peel off the red tape, which is, funny enough, very hard to do. I'm always surprised at how well it actually sticks to the double-sided tape. Can't even grab it with the tweezers. See how much it sticks? There we go. Phew! Terribly annoying. So I'm gonna place this on here so I can still reach the pots, and I'm gonna say I will put it somehow like this. This should be okay for everything to be neatly in place. I'm not quite sure how to put down the cable tie though. And I will still need to fetch some. But let's deal with one problem at a time. Let's try to get audio back working, which means I need a lot of stuff out of my way. I'm gonna take this and strip the wires here. With this it's very easy, we can just solder everything basically together. This is only mono anyway, and I'm gonna plan on keeping it that way. So we can basically solder the ground together and the signal, actually, because there's only one signal wire. So here we have the shield or ground for the white. I think white is left audio, maybe, but who cares? You can always swap it around if you're not happy. And then we have the signal wire. And I can again heat up the iron. Can already twist the ground wire together. I should probably also prepare some heat shrink tubing, but this will be way too small. So next bigger size, something like this. Can already slide it on. Like this. And we're gonna strip the signal wires. Alright, that came off easier than the last wire. And the red one. No, not so good. Okay, maybe I can melt my way through this. Not super happy, but what are you gonna do? Okay, I'm gonna tin both wires, the ground and the signal, so that they don't easily detach again. Alright. Then we have to strip the audio signal from the board, like so, and the ground wire. It looks a little bit like a chaotic rat's nest, doesn't it? So, for everybody joining in late, I see there's a couple of viewers. I'm trying to attach a proper RCA AV cable to the 7800, which is working now, as I demonstrated earlier, playing all the 7800 and 2600 stuff that I can throw at it. But since I wanted to leave the whole case intact without drilling holes into it, I decided to directly solder a bunch of wires to the UAV and to my mod. And this way I could restore this thing to factory if I wanted to. And I think that's a good thing, because as I said, the 7800 is not a particularly common thing here, and I need a little bit of heat shrink for the ground wire. because it's extra super duper stupid. And I think I take one for the signal wire as well. Like this. I'm gonna shove this one over here. And this one over here. And then I'm gonna do a pretty rubbish solder job, like so, because there's way too little solder on there. Okay, now it should be better. This is like watching paint dry. So let's hope that this will stay in place. So yeah, the heat shrink is on, at least on this side. And now I'm gonna attach the audio wires. Then we can plug that in too and have a listen if there is any sound. So let's shrink this as well. Should be good, and put some heat shrink over this whole weird contraption, which also will act a little bit as a strain relief, which I think is a good thing. But we will have to put in some cable ties for sure. But I'm still not sure where to put those. But we'll figure that out. No new comments there. Have you all fallen asleep? So, where is my mixer? My mixer is here. And I put the whole stream onto mono, which I shouldn't have, I realize now. But at least we should get sound. And we're gonna use, what are we gonna use? We're gonna use Zookeeper, maybe? Or, yeah, let's take Zookeeper. I don't think it has music. Let's take Mappy. Mappy has great music. Mappy has excellent music. Let's turn this off for now. Let's plug this in. Let's turn on the capture device. And it didn't recognize Mappy, which sometimes happens with the Harmony cartridges. And there we go. But I don't hear anything. Do you hear anything? Oh yeah, I think there is something. Yes. Mappy is a terrible game to play with. Mappy needs as little lag as possible. It's sometimes you have to act on single frames basically. So I'm not gonna expect to. Yeah, see, I missed the jump there, and the cat got me. But the music seems to be fine, I would say. So we have video, we have audio. You see, I jumped off at the wrong floor because there's so much lag in here. And of course, there's also a lot of flickering because it has to do sprite multiplexing because there are only 2 sprites, and we have obviously much more sprites than the Atari actually can handle. But Mappy is, I think, my favorite game on the 2600. And of course, it's a homebrew game by John Poe, so it wasn't there back in 1980, whatever. But this game is from like 3, 4, 5 years ago, something like that. And it's a pretty accurate conversion of the arcade game, as all the Champ games are. And of course, I'm not playing particularly great here, because I'm also not taking care of the different scoring that is happening. I have to pick up the objects in order of ascending order of their value to maximize your score. And I'm totally not doing that. This was the cheapest thing that I could have picked up. And I think the objects are randomized right now. You can toggle that with the difficulty switches. Yeah, they're definitely randomized because the TV or whatever this is supposed to be is usually on the right side of the screen, I think. But I have to look that up. But music works, so I would say that's a success, which means we are ready to go and assemble everything. Soul Sister is joined, but only in the chat. She's in the next room. Alright, this is looking rather good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna pull out the cable from the capture setup, and I might have to go and fetch a couple of cable ties and think about how to mount this so that we can get everything in place. 1 second please, I'm gonna fetch some cable ties. Here we are again. Whole bunch of cable ties. At first I'm gonna secure this here, this piece where I pulled apart the strands, and I don't want it to get pulled apart any further than this. So I'm gonna also here, I think. Let's do a couple of cable ties. One here. Next one. Where did I say? Here. Okay. So there we have enough space to maybe attach one end to the monitor and the other to like an amplifier or active speakers or something. And I can cut the cable ties if I need to. But this should give us enough wiggle room, I would say. And I'm gonna secure this one here as well, just because I can. I think that's also pretty safe to do. And we'll cut off the loose ends in a minute. And now we have to think about where to tie this down, this whole contraption. Something like so. And this. And the last one was up here. Cable management, it's the best. So I do want to route it somehow through here. This isn't super pretty, but it should work. The question is, how can we tie this down? At some point we will have to get this shield on top of all this. And you see, there's plenty of room. I could tie it to the shield, you know. That is an option. I think that's probably the simplest option. I think this is maybe also for ventilation, but I don't have big issues with abusing that for tying down the thing here. I could also feed it through here, but that doesn't work because I need the hole over here. I would say I'm gonna use a cable tie and attach it to the shield. And I think I'm gonna use this hole here, because I think that is probably the best way to go. Something like this, I would say, because then we have strain relief on the whole thing. The only thing that comes to mind is, do we need to go out of the way of the cartridge port here? Is this a good idea, what I'm doing? What does the... Ah yes, that could be an issue. Yeah, I think we need to use the other hole in the shield, because you can see we need to go over here. There needs to be some space here. So I would say probably that this is the safer bet, right? And the cable tie needs to go this way around. I mean, we can cut it open again. That's no big deal if we made a mistake. But we definitely need this strain relief. I think this will do just fine. We need to be a little bit careful with the wiring here, because I actually made it a little bit too long. But this is pretty sturdy. I think this will work just fine. So we are gonna cut this in the hopes that this will be okay. Otherwise, we will open this up again. I've stored all the screws in here, which are not many, but enough. And I have the bottom shield, which of course is now a little bit harder to install due to the way that I attached the RF shield already to the wires. Ah yes, but this is looking good. This is looking excellent actually. Okay, we need some tweezers. No, these are too soft. I need the pliers, which are not in here. Damn it, which are up here. The question is, will it still work after I closed it up? These are just like twist tabs. And if it gets totally broken, well, then so shall it be. But as I said, I'm trying my best to keep this more or less factory, or with the possibility of going back to a factory. And I think this is fine. This is totally fine. This is super solid. Feels super solid at least. We'll see, we'll see. But I have the feeling that this Odyssey, I might say, is coming to a close, which is nice. Because this took me so much time. It was so much work. I do love the 2600, and I do want to try out 7800 exclusive games, because I think there's also a lot of great homebrew happening on the 7800. And this here is a bit nasty. Let's see if I get some cleaning. Got some German Windex look-alike, basically. Just very quickly wiping off the dust that has collected in here. And I got this 7800 for cheaper than any other of the 7800s that I have seen so far. They do go for sometimes weird amounts of money. I mean, there are not a lot of games that have been released back in the day. It was a competitor to the NES, but the NES totally wiped the floor with it, and the Master System was also bigger. So sadly, Atari didn't have much luck with the 7800. And I think it's totally undeserved, because it's a great machine. It's a cool machine, and yeah, during its commercial life it didn't stand a chance. But I think since the Atari homebrew community is so big, I sometimes think that the Atari homebrew community is bigger than, for example, the Nintendo Entertainment System homebrew community, and it's definitely bigger than the Master System homebrew, which is, I think, the weakest, maybe. And now I know what I did wrong. Yes. People, you may want to laugh at your screens now, because I forgot to feed everything through here. Bummer. Damn it. Damn it, I forgot to feed this through first. Luckily, this is absolutely not a problem. Well, it is. Actually, it is. Okay. It wouldn't be an Atari 7800 stream if I didn't make a terrible mistake. Yes, well, how do we get this through now without destroying the case, without having to do everything again? Okay, these fit totally not through any of the holes, so this has to go over the wires first. That's gonna be a doozy. How utterly positively annoying. The good thing is that the video cable is only plugged in, but the audio cable, I'm thinking about desoldering it at the board. because that might be simpler than undoing the whole what do you call it, shrink, heat shrink. Yeah, that was not very smart, not at all. Yeah, shit. Interrupt of the video, which makes sense that I did that. Oh man. Oh man. Okay, on you go again. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, I think I made a big mistake here. And I think I'm gonna undo the heat shrink tubing, because this will still be easier than all the other crap that I have to deal with here. That was so not smart. We're so close and yet so far from the finished product. And if brewing company is listening, please make a UAV with like a 3.5 millimeter jack on it, so we can just pipe out a little 3.5 millimeter cable. That would be awesome. And how do I open up this terrible thing? Probably not at all. Yeah, that's actually pretty annoying. Good grief. Oh, this is terrible. Of course, it would have been much easier to just drill a hole into the case, but who knows, the plastic might be brittle, then we might have destroyed the whole case. Plus, I don't want to drill a hole in the case. But you saw it, we were very close to this being solved. Would be nice if heat shrink tubing could be ripped off easier. But it can't be. Well, this makes it easier. Almost done with the blue heat shrink or blue wire. Yes. God, I'm sweating. Only put on the heat shrink if you are certain that everything is fine. But I was sure, because I was so happy to have tested it. And it worked. But I didn't test the mechanical aspects. almost done. Careful not to destroy the cable at the last minute. Whew. Okay, now let's very quickly unsolder both cables. One and two. And now do what we needed to do before. And let's check if this actually fits in with all the mumbo jumbo here. Otherwise we have to think about something different anyway. But no, this is looking good. This seems to fit quite perfectly, and you can still switch the channel for the TV. I think this is just perfect. And you could also use strain relief on there if necessary. However, I'm gonna pick some new heat shrink. Yeah, we need 2 small bits. Maybe I just don't care about the big heat shrink. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Yeah, I think I do. If we're doing this the right way. So we're gonna shove a big old heat shrink over this part. Then we're gonna solder our audio cable back together. Before I put the heat shrink on, I'm gonna test the whole thing again. Come on, this is not a nice joint. Exactly. No, it's not gonna work like so. Problem is the cables are not getting better every time I solder and desolder. I'm not happy. This is okay, I would say. I'm gonna put this over so I don't short out with the ground wire. Same here. And I'm gonna plug in the video connection. Which is rather shabby. I must say, I might just solder the ground wire. If this keeps misbehaving, because I fear that we might have an issue otherwise with the ground connection. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull the connector apart here. The DuPont thing is really terrible, I must say. I don't like it at all. It's not really holding. Very annoying, because I almost had this thing together. Okay, I can stick the DuPont connector on, but it's not super stable. Same for the video. It doesn't want to hold. There it goes. Ah, so close! We were so close! Okay, I'm gonna do go out on a limb here and just solder these to the pins, because now I have proper pins. I don't like it, but I think this is the only way I can do this now without going totally insane. I'm not really happy about this. I'm not sure it will work. This really needs proper connectors. I don't have enough wire left here to do another round of DuPont crimping, which was a problem anyway. So I think I can't do that. What I could do instead is solder these things onto there, but this one is broken. Could try that, because these are pre-crimped basically. They do fit nicely. Yeah, I think I might actually do that. Let's do that. Yeah, this is nice. This should work nicely. They're pretty cheap cables. Only something like 2 strands or something. I'm gonna use this wire here. Over here. And the violet will be my ground wire. Good enough. Okay, we need a second wire. I do have plenty of those. I will use a yellow one, very fitting for video, I think. Really could have done without this right now, Before I close everything up, I will test this one more time. Put some heat shrink on there as well. Everybody gets heat shrink today. You get heat shrink, you get heat shrink, and you get heat shrink. Hey, hey, hey. I will never open up this Atari again. It will stay like this. Come on. Oh, come on. Okay. Trying out the setup one more time. Power is here and we need to, well, let's plug this in just for testing. Just for testing. Yes, and I heard sound. So I do assume yes, we got sound, we got video. That's more than I expected. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, everything is wired up. I will try to put the heat shrink over these. It might not quite fit. Come on, you suckers. Ah, yeah, I should shrink them first. Shrinking, 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 shrinking. Shrink, 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 shrink. And this here as well. Shrink, 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 shrink. Gives a little bit of strain relief. Perfect. We didn't put anything over here, but I think that's okay. I think we're fine. I hope. Said that a couple of times. So, it's not super pretty, but as I said, I won't throw around this thing a lot. This should be fine. Yeah, one other disadvantage here is that it's even harder to get in the RF shield now. But I think I managed. Yeah, this is looking good. The strain relief still needs to go on here. Ah, you can't see anything. People, you have to say something in the chat. Question is, how do we get this through here and then back up? I think I need some pliers or tweezers or something. And this has to go somewhere else. Okay, come on, cable tie. Come on! This is super hard. Okay, finally. I need to twist it around because it's the wrong, it's inside out basically. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it. Something like that, at least. I think this should fit. Can we still lift this up? Not like so. So I have to pull a bit on the tabs because the bottom shield was sagging down. At some point this might just break, then the shield has to go. I think it does have some advantages to have the shield. Not for modern appliances regarding the emissions from this device, but I think the Atari itself, the audio and video quality might show interference from modern things like Wi-Fi, etc., and this just keeps everything out. What's this? I need to log in with Google for some reason. Okay, is this still working? I'm really hoping. Let's try one more time. Get the power. Sound, video, perfect. Heard the blip. We can close up the whole thing. Oh my goodness, this took way longer than I wanted it to. Okay, back here. Yeah, for those of you who stayed all this time, thank you. I think we are really on the home stretch now. What kind of screws do we have? We have a bunch of screws left here. Something like 6 screws. One looks a bit funky. I'm wondering, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where does the sixth screw come from? Is there anything that I should have used this one on? I'm so not sure. Those 5 do make sense. Well, I think we will have 1 screw left over, which is funny. Dana says, hello all together. Hi Dana. I assume this is Dana from the DOS Reloaded forum. We are almost done, and then I will fire up 1 more cartridge before we say goodnight. Are these all the same length, or is there a long screw, short screw game going on here? I think they're all the same length. And they seem to be self-tapping screws, I think. So yeah, you have to be a little bit careful with these. If you screw them in, not to destroy the plastic. So I'm gonna be a bit conservative. I might have to retighten them later. Screw number 2. Almost done. Screw number 3. Yeah, this goes in very smoothly. Screw number 4. This is looking good. And screw number 5. And I have no clue where the fifth screw came from. But so be it. Alright, this is actually looking not too bad. And you know what? There's still the protective film on here. Shall we peel it off? Shall we peel it off? Maybe, but first let's put 1 more game in there and see if it still works. Switching back to this thing, we're gonna put in a brand new game. Which is Kicks by Champ Games, which is a clone of Kicks. And I do hear something. And it didn't recognize it because it's a harmony cartridge, a melody cartridge, that is. So let's try it again. Nope, it doesn't want to play Kicks. Why? Did we break something? Let's test something else that used to work, like Mappy. Mappy works. Does this draw too much power or something? Yeah, Kicks doesn't like Kicks. Let's take something else. Let's take Aardvark by Oscar Toledo. Doesn't like it either. Now this is again Asteroids. Okay, let's try a very old game. Yeah, that does work. That's Raumpatrouille, Space Patrol, I don't know. Okay, yeah, this is fresh from the... But it shows that it's working, I would say. Not a particularly good game, but one that always works. I'm wondering why the Harmony games don't want to run. None of them want to run. Let's see if the Harmony cartridge itself is still working. Yeah, that does work. Well, then I'm gonna call this this a night, basically. And let's play demo for the end. Okay. It might be that the 7800 is a little bit picky with homebrew games, with the advanced cartridges. I will figure that one out. I know that this is more tweaked to the 2600. So, yeah, finally the saga is over, or at least I do have this thing back in one piece. And I'm gonna peel this protective film now off. It has been sitting like this for almost 40 years. So let's do this and enjoy. Oh, you have to watch it, of course. I'm gonna put this to the side just for a minute. It's actually quite hard to get off. Oh, look at this! Look at this! How nice it is! Oh, come on! Ah! How annoying, but probably very fitting. And it's really sticking. No wonder that no one peeled this off. It's really, really extremely sticky. This sticky tape is probably higher quality than the rest of the machine. And there's still something left. Oh my goodness. But you can already see how shiny it is. Oh goodness. I love the rainbow. That's pretty neat. Yeah, let's call it even. Yeah, lovely. This is it. Alright. Yeah, with the demo running in the background. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I do hope to get the where is it here? The homebrew cards running. That would be nice. But I have no clue why it wouldn't run. Because the Harmony cartridge obviously works. And yeah. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching, for sticking around. 3 episodes. I thought this would be just 1 episode and we're done with this stupid thing. But no, it's much harder. Would I recommend the 7800? Well, if you're a hardcore Atari fan, for sure. But honestly, I think the 2600 has such a huge game library, and for the most part, you will be playing a lot of 2600 games on this as well. So I'm not convinced that people should rush out and buy a 7800. I will do one more test with Robot War, also a champ game with Melody technology. So let's see if that works. That does work, funny enough. Okay, so it seems to be picky currently, but yeah. Oh, where am I? Who am I? Ah, this is me. Okay, and this actually needs to be played with 2 joysticks. You need to collect all the humans and destroy all the robots, which are these blocks. And it's a great game, but actually it's a 2 joystick game, and yeah, I died. Playing it with one joystick is not very good. You need to shoot and run in different directions. Yeah, okay, that's it. It's way too late. I have to work tomorrow. So thank you very much, and hope to see you in the next stream or in the next video. Thank you very much for joining, and see you soon.